Hey guys, so today the topic is on becoming a detective. I'm very, very excited to talk to you guys about it. Also, becoming of it and what it does to promote God and the values in some ways that He has stated in the Bible and what it directly links to that. A lot of it being a detective in many variety of other career fields, it can promote God values and particularly in this case, justice and truth. And a lot of those, particularly those two words get thrown around a lot with, especially with FBI agents or something to do with the government. So basically, I'm here to inform you about just being a detective and what it involves. I want to show you all how to serve and promote those qualities. Through Psalms 106, one of the quotes that I can remember is 106 Psalms 106:3. Blessed are they that keep judgment, and he that doeth the righteousness at all times. What would you do? Okay, here's the scenario. What would you do if you opened your trunk and you could it could be easily broken into, say it's like a 1998 BMW, and the back of it, all you had to do is pick the lock easily. So you wouldn't know it's even broken into. You found a pair of Jordan shoes. Maybe they were Elites, maybe they were, it doesn't matter the brand. It's just specific Jordan shoes that happen to be your size, but knowing it's not yours. Noticing the stains on the bottom from you don't notice the stains on the bottom from the crime scene. So you take them anyways, you clean them up as best as you could. You start wearing them for a while. Maybe you were sketchy at first, but then it's like, oh, well, maybe I forgot, a friend gave them to me, forever ago. Because people keep their stuff in the trunk and forget about it, right? I know I do. So you can start wearing them for a while, and then from work, they have a warrant to search. They end up showing up to your apartment, and then they have a warrant to search your apartment because they found, so your footprint got into a mud track and it got onto the sidewalk, and they measured it from the crime scene, and they had a warrant to search your apartment because tracking your foot size and all this other stuff. You ask what's going on, they said they have the warrant. So they end up finding the shoes that they were looking for, not knowing his DNA was still on it. So then you come to the station, and then they process your place, they question you, and knowing you did nothing wrong, you're still being felt that you're being prosecuted for something you have no clue about. And it's just, how would you feel in the moment of that? I personally, it's happened before, personally, so I would feel more helpless and misjudged, and I'm sure you would too, because you were completely innocent. Knowing you were sketchy at first, it probably would have been the best bet to be like, throw them out, away, or something like that, just not taking it. If you know it's most likely not yours, it probably isn't. That's when us detectives come in. Evidence from the crime scene always turns up missing. No matter how small or big, it can make the biggest difference, not only for you, but also the person in that needs to be punished or in that case. And that's where justice comes in and the truth comes in. So you're not being prosecuted for something. People get accused wrongly for something they never did or was involved with. It happens. That is why it's up to us detectives to do its job to someone innocent not being held accountable for another person's crime. So next time you see stray money or someone drop shoes or something of the sort like that, I know a lot of times it's money. Do not pick it up. If anything, try to get them before they leave. If you see the person that directly drops the shoes, the money, their purse, whatever, before they leave to go to somewhere, and get them. Try to get a hold of them first thing, definitely. So last thing you could do is call an officer and ask them to take it to the station. I know it can be sketchy sometimes, but at least you have that to back you up in case you do get accused. So, but that anything could end up missing evidence from a crime scene. Anything could have prints on it. Anything could have DNA on it. It's just anything you touch, whether no matter how you wash your hands or nothing, as long as there's a print or a speck of DNA or skin cell on it, you could be in for something and you not even know it. So let me adjust this a little bit. Okay, so basically what I'm asking, have you ever felt that you've gotten accused of something you have not done or have been involved in? Something you did not know. I mean, I'm sure you've heard of someone, or even you have been, involved. I have. Back in an incident, I would say back in high school, I was accused of stealing a girl's purse. Yeah. It began by her leaving it at the balloon release. Me and my friends came together to have for William Leasing, or Lysing, I don't remember, who committed suicide before he could graduate high school. I didn't want her purse to get taken by someone, so I ended up, I thought it wouldn't hurt to take it home, just like that. Well, once there earlier, you wouldn't think it would hurt to take the shoes back, not noticing the tracks from the crime scene. So I didn't think it would hurt to take it home and bring it to school next day because I know whose it was. So I did. That morning breakfast time in the lunchroom, I set it down where she usually sits and left after waiting on her or her friends to come and tell me where she is. Then I left. The school officer, Jared Brewer, pulled me into the office later that day or a few days later and asked about it. And I told him exactly what I'm telling you. He claimed I stole it. And I said prove it after my said was explaining, and I did not. After explaining I didn't, he would review, he said he would review the footage to see if I was telling the truth. And I mean, it really hurt, but I knew his tactic. If you directly accuse somebody, they're going to be stunned and feel like they're caught or something. So that's part of a little tactic, a part of what a detective could do. After I left the office, I wasn't told anything afterwards. So it makes you think, who was in the wrong? Why did he accuse me if he really didn't know? Was it just a scare tactic? What was it? And all these questions and stuff is particularly why we have detectives to find out the hardcore evidence and to bring it to justice, whether he was in the wrong, whether I was in the wrong. So I never knew if she got back, honestly. But I do know it was out of my hands and I was wrongfully accused. Asking these questions and knowing your rights helps a detective to build a case up for you if you are in the right. If you are in the wrong, well, obviously it will be against you. If you have the desire to prove someone or something wrong or right, either way, it's not a matter of proving wrong or right. It's just proving and doing your job and bringing justice and truth, like I said earlier, and do what is right. And this may be the career field for you. Some points of becoming considering a detective is, obviously there's money. It's always money. Job environment and the variety of career specialties comes with. It isn't just a murder. It isn't a matter of, stolen equipment, or it's not only a drug overdose or, some kind of miscalculation that the police could have done, or even you could have done, or another detective. It's just a matter of doing your job and reviewing the case and getting what's done. So the first point would be the job environment. Many detectives may come across or get to consider. What you would want to consider is where you want to go, how you want to get there, and all this other stuff. You want to consider the weather, the type of investigation you're wanting to specifically get involved with, and the location of where would you like to work. So like I live in Kentucky my whole life. I wanted to make a change and go to Hawaii and join the 5-0 task force. And if that's, honestly, I'm not sure if that's real, but if it's real, I want to join. If not, it's just a change of environment I want to go for. If you really want to take a huge leap, I mean, Hawaii is completely different from Kentucky, just like California is completely different from the Carolinas. So if you want to take that big leap, if you're not looking towards a direction that may be some, such a big leap, maybe from Kentucky to, for example, from Kentucky to the Carolinas or Virginia would be more suitable. It's more muggy. I mean, it's still on the East Coast. It's still kind of what you're used to with the weather. It's a little bit off, but you adjust to that because if you're in Kentucky and, weather seasons and stuff doesn't matter here, it's going to do what it wants. So that's basically how it is over there too, because I have personally visited those states. There are also specific detective fields that you may feel more active in or out of state than others as well. Like in Kentucky, it may not be, they may need more detectives in bigger states like Florida and Texas and stuff like that, because there's always a lot more crime going on there specifically, and like Ohio. But if you don't want to go far like Texas or anything, you may want to go to Ohio, just right up the state. Or you may just want to go again to the Carolinas or some of the state you're used to the weather and everything and adjust there and see if you like being it there. Or you can just go completely to Hawaii like I would like to do. So now that we've explored some of the environmental factors to consider them in this career field, there are specific fields that you may be considered interested in. There's several variety career specialties. One would be working a homicide case. A lot of these cases you see on TV shows like CSI Miami, any CSI, NCIS, Hawaii Five-0, where my inspiration came from. A lot of those are homicides. Another would be, solving a fraud division case. So like I was saying earlier, it could have been something like an IRS. I like to use this as an example because it directly affects me because I was claimed on my dad's taxes. And obviously that was fraud, and my mom got the money back plus more. It's certain cases like that. It didn't take as long, but sometimes if you're well planned out a fraud case, you can miscalculate something and not even notice it. But that's why it's up to, it doesn't have to be a direct detective like Danny Whalings of Hawaii Five-0. It's just somebody in that field or in the IRS caught it. And that's part of being a detective. Another example would be uncovering a narcotics investigation. If you're prescribed like me, on certain medications, and you was to get into a wreck. I actually got into a wreck before, and they asked me about my medications. If I'm able to state off all the medications that I am and the milligrams, you can tell whether if I was drunk or I was taking too much medication or whatever, because you would think you wouldn't be able to get, you wouldn't get caught for anything like that. So simple things like proving that in test results from this and matching it up together and making sure that, look, she's telling the truth. She has nothing to do with this wreck and it wasn't her fault. That's another example. So the difference in pay, you might ask, well, there's a range of pay. Overall, there's an average of 62,000 annually, according to statistics in the 2007 from the United States Department of Labor Occupational Handbook. Private detectives can average about 53,000 yearly, according to a website called Chrome.com. It's all a matter of what you are comfortable with, what you want to take a chance on. And if you don't want to take a big leap, like I said, you got to work in the environmental factors, your salary, and your family lifestyle and stuff, what you have to travel and what you have to work with. You work with that to build yourself up. And when you do that, you're doing the same thing as you are with your cases. You're sitting there, you're building your case up, your evidence, the facts and everything, and you want to prove the person the truth and bring justice to the case. And then you move on to the next one. So I'm going to ask you, do you think you're up to the task? Job environments, pay range, type of job in the detective career field, whether narcotics or I mean, that's all in factors you've got to consider. There will be ups and downs, obviously, in anything you do in life, but it is a matter of believing in your work and what you do and enjoy that counts. Let's get to discovering the facts and proving justice once and for all, guys. Thank you all for showing up, and thank you all for paying attention. Bye.